The following program is intended to educate and inform. We discuss cannabis being used as medicine, the culture, science, and controversy of cannabis and cannabis laws. We do not advocate any illegal activity. Moth Networks and their associates do not claim to be lawyers or doctors, nor do they represent themselves as such. All their comments and views are of their own personal opinion and personal experiences. Opinions and claims made by the guests and advertisers on Moth Networks are their own, and all parties agree to the Moth Network use and policy agreement. Moth Network and Moth Network associates cannot be held legally responsible for the statements of the host or of their guests. We encourage all listeners to learn their Constitution, to assert their rights, acknowledge their duties, and know their individual state laws.
I just graduated from Cannabis University.
Ooh, a university man.
I learned all about the law.
Oh, you bad boy.
And I learned how to grow my own medicine all in one day.
All day.
I learned other things too.
Cannabis University, teach me.
Call 303-886-7998 or go to CannabisUniversityInc.com.
Hi and welcome. Thank you for joining me today on Kingdom of Healing. This is Kimberly Matteo, a certified naturopath and master herbalist, and I started my journey in natural healing in 1977. For those seeking advice, it's my hope that my 37 years will help you or a loved one overcome your health challenges. I'd also like to let you know that any of the products for nutritional support that I talk about can be found on my website at kingdomofhealing.com. And if there's any information that you would like on the alkaline water or any questions that you would have, you can send me an email at kingdomofhealing4u@yahoo.com. That's Kingdom of Healing, and it's the number 4 and the letter U at yahoo.com. Due to audio difficulties last week, I'm repeating the information on fibromyalgia and endometriosis. Just want to cover a little bit about what I started with last week. That was the showing concern all the time for the money that we spend trying to fix a broken down physical vehicle. The only one we get. We don't get issued another body. We need to look at our kitchen and find out what you're eating. You know, what will you find in your kitchen? I just kind of want to run by some of these basic things that we take for granted that we eat every day and how they end up a pH level in the body. Now, anything under 7.0, anything under, is an acid state. And in the acid state, if we eat too many foods and stay in that acid state all the time, our body's foundation, the terrain, everything that the cells and the blood and all the tissue of the body are bathed in, becomes very acidic. And it creates abnormal cells and creates a host of problems and actually puts our foundation at a risk for the opportunity for disease to develop. So I kind of want to go through some of these foods real quick. Again, ones that I really do feel that we take for granted and don't really realize how non-nutritional they are. Energy drinks, sodas, artificial sweeteners, they have a pH level highly acidic of 2.5 to 3.5. All of the white flour, white sugar, corn syrups, like the high fructose corn syrup, which most all of that anyway is all GMO, that is 3.5 to 4.0. Meats and wild game and organ meats are in a pH range of 3.5 to 5.5. Pastas, everybody loves pasta, but white and wheat pasta is 4.5 Cakes, cookies, pastries, they come in at 4.0 to 4.5. Salted butter, margarine, corn oil, 3.5. Tortillas, 4.0. 5.0 for all of the canned, and unfortunately, frozen foods and frozen vegetables. Margarine, corn oil, 3.5. Tortillas, 4.0. 5.0 for all of the canned coffee, and unfortunately, frozen foods, beer, wine, frozen vegetables. Margarine, corn oil, ketchup, tortillas, 4.5. 5.0 for most all prescription drugs, and unfortunately, frozen food, beer, wine, frozen vegetables, tortillas, 5.0 for most all prescription drugs, and unfortunately, frozen food, beer, wine, frozen vegetables, tortillas, 'If you're dealing with health challenges, you have to quit doing the same thing over and over. You won't get a different outcome. It's kind of like the definition of insanity. You quit doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. So it's not going to happen. Here's a way to change what you're doing from acid to alkaline. So, the white flour and the wheat flour is 4.5. If you use pasta from artichokes, rice, or sesame seeds, that has an 8.0, so that's an alkaline. That's good for you. That's healthy. Anything in that alkaline level helps to change the condition of your body and bring that acid pH up into balance, and you're really striving always for a 7.5. I want you also to know that these types of pastas cook in half the time. So be really careful. They can get overcooked and they can be very sticky and icky. When you have these foods. Okay. So, fresh organic fruits and vegetables range from 7.5 to 10.0. Okay, that's fresh and organic. 7.5 to 10.0. So vegetables that are canned and frozen or frozen are 5.0. So there's the importance of eating fresh, raw food, and especially organic. Now, unsalted butter, it comes in at 7.0. But salt itself is very acidic. And so when they add salt to the butter, it brings that salt to 3.5. So when you use unsalted butter, it is actually much more healthy for you because it's a 7.0. And don't use any margarine anyway, please. It is one molecule of Cooking high alkaline water of 9.0 to 10.5 to bring up the alkaline level. To bring up the alkaline levels in the foods that you're eating. Make teas and coffee with 9.0 alkaline water. To cut the acid level, bring it up to 7.0 or 7.5. Actually, an extremely high alkaline water of 9.5 to 10.5 really makes a very smooth cup of coffee, and it doesn't have that acidy feeling in the stomach. All herbs and herb teas all come in at 8.5 to 9.0. Natural sweetener, stevia, raw honey, pure maple syrup, molasses, sorghum is 7.5 to 8.5. And remember that lemons, they may be acidic in their natural state, but when you take them into the body, they're very cleansing. And they're very, very good for bringing your body out of an acid condition. Lemons are 10.0.
Watermelon, next in line. When someone is sick, children, right now it's summer, children, there's just so much Kool-Aid and things that, that are not health building that children consume. And watermelon is something that most all children love, and it has a 9.5 pH level in it. So their bodies can become very acidic by the chips and dips and lunch meats and things like that. And watermelon is a way to help bring that up. Unfortunately, that is the way a lot of people do feed their children. My children and grandchildren do not consume those types of foods, but they're out there in the stores, and the reason they're there is because people purchase them. Broccoli, kale, and artichokes come in at 8.5, and then beets, green beans, asparagus, bell peppers, all raw, come in at 10.0. When you cook organic vegetables, they drop to a 7.5. So even when you steam and cook organic vegetables, you're still at that ideal level of 7.5 as opposed to frozen and canned vegetables and fruits. All nuts should always be raw. They come in at 8.0 to 9.0. If you consume salted and roasted nuts, they have an acid pH of 5.5. The great healer and master herbalist of the 20th century, Dr. Edward Shook, had stated that any man who knows of a harmless remedy to relieve pain and restore sufferers to health and does not use it is a criminal of the worst type, a danger to all who patronize him, and is unworthy to be called a physician. We know today that millions of people are dying every year from what's called iatrogenetic diseases. Iatrogenetics is a medical word, and it stands for doctor-induced. So of these people that are dying, this is from drugs, side effects, wrong diagnoses, and they're rarely accountable for what happens with this poor judgment. My father, for instance, had been misdiagnosed with Legionnaire's disease in 1997, and they quarantined him 10 days, put big gun antibiotics through him, even administered antibiotics that they were told numerous times that he was allergic to, sulfa drugs. 8 weeks later, unfortunately, due to the damage of what they did, and of course after 10 days they told him he did not have Legionnaire's disease, but there wasn't really anything that could be done about everything that they had already ran through his body. And unfortunately, 8 weeks later, my father died due to Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which is iatrogenetic, and that comes from the overuse of medications and the wrong drugs, and he certainly had a wrong diagnosis, and we were not able to hold anybody accountable out of 17 doctors who were supposed to be in charge. So one thing that I do know in 37 years, herbs are safe. For thousands of years, herbs have been used to treat and prevent disease. If there's a reaction, it's usually due to taking prescription drugs with herbs. Wait 1 hour after taking prescriptions to take your herbs and nutritional supplements. For instance, wanted to point out here too that with prescriptions, with the medical field wanting to always say that herbs are unproven, which is absolutely not true. The majority of medications still today have an isolated property from that herb, and they build their chemical drugs around that so that they can patent it, because you can't patent an herb in its natural state. For instance, like foxglove. Responsible herb companies do not sell toxic herbs. Foxglove is poisonous, and it will stop the heart. But foxglove is what the pharmaceutical industry isolates the properties from foxglove, and they have their patented product called digitalis. So this is I think more of their medicine is unfounded than the herbs are. If you can't afford herbs, look to your diet. Our food is our medicine, and that's why I've really wanted to share and make you aware and enlighten you about all the foods and where they stand on the pH table. And through becoming familiar with that, you'll learn to be able to rebuild your health just from the foods that you're serving and putting on your table. 80% of our diet should be alkaline, 20% acid. So by figuring that out, you want to have it plentiful with vegetables and with fruits. And then that allows there for some eggs, which are 5.5, pretty high. I guess, when you're talking about everything else that is so low, not 5.5, excuse me, they are 6.5. But we have beef and pork and game, that is 5.5. So you can have a little of that acid, 20%. 80% of that really needs to be alkaline. So this is why I really want to stress to you how important it is for you to become aware of the pH levels of food. I want to talk about fibromyalgia. That didn't come through very well last week, and so I'm going to repeat this. Fibromyalgia, we have over 6 million people suffering with this syndrome in the U.S. alone. In the medical arena, it's considered incurable. Never accept a prognosis for any ailment into your conscious mind when they tell you that it is incurable. If you're willing to do what you need to do to get well, and I always say if you're walking and talking, you have a great chance of overcoming your health challenges. Every day forward is a good day. When those days turn into weeks, you're moving forward to wellness. And weeks turn into months, you regain your health. When you have your health, you have everything. Ask anyone who's sick. They'll tell you, without their health, nothing in life matters. Fibromyalgia is actually a form of muscular and soft tissue rheumatism. Rheumatism refers to the pain and stiffness and inflammation that's associated with arthritis. It mainly affects the muscles, the ligaments, and the tendons that are attached to the bones. There are a variety of factors that can bring on the onset of this syndrome. Severe traumas, emotional experience, stress, depression, low oxygen due to low magnesium, hormones out of balance, low blood sugar levels, chronic fatigue, lack of the deep, restful REM sleep state. It's classified as a syndrome because in order to diagnose, you have to have a set of signs and symptoms that occur together. Major symptoms of fibromyalgia are tenderness of 11 to 18 sites on the body, pain, constant pain, chronic aching, stiffness, sleep disorders. Remember that a restful sleep, without a restful sleep, when you end up tossing and turning and not able to sleep, that puts your body in an acid pH of 3.0. So losing sleep, slowly but surely, you lose your health. It's one of the reasons why when people are in the hospital or when people are sick, you really do want to keep the amount of people that are visiting and taking their time. And they do enjoy seeing their loved ones. But the thing is that it's very exhausting. And the amount of rest that they need is vital for them to rebuild their health. Fatigue, stress, anxiety, depression, vitamin and mineral deficiencies. Remember that if the pH isn't at 7.5, we cannot take up and assimilate our nutrients from our foods or our supplements. Patients with fibromyalgia syndrome say they literally ache all over. Their skin even hurts. They describe feeling like they're pulled, like they have pulled or torn a muscle. Their muscles twitch. Their muscles feel overworked and exhausted. The muscles and the tendons. A burning sensation throughout the body that can fluctuate a lot from day to day. There are days when the pain is a deep, burning, throbbing, and stabbing. It can start in the neck and shoulders and then spread all over to other parts of the body. This can depend on the time of day, activity level, the weather, lack of quality sleep, interruption in your daily routine. There's always some level of pain and limitations with those who suffer with this syndrome. Unfortunately, due to the pain and tenderness in the muscles, tendons, and connective tissue, it's impossible to lie in one position for any extended period of time. It always brings you back to a light sleep due to constantly repositioning yourself due to the pain. You can't get into a deep, restful, healing sleep. Fatigue is described as brain fog, muscle weakness. You feel completely drained of any energy. Severe stress along with emotional traumatic experiences, especially stress that is constantly going on in your life. There's definitely a problem of neuroendocrine abnormalities, which can be the basis of the beginning cause of fibromyalgia. Long periods of undue stress and trauma cause severe problems with the autonomic nervous system. It cannot function properly under these conditions. Over a period of time, the body has an interruption of ATP, which is the energy producing part of the cell, along with the ongoing stress factors and the fatigue. Poor diet choices are made. Lack of exercise due to the brain fog and muscle fatigue. Too tired to want to bother with taking vitamins, minerals, and herbs. And one of the things is when you do have all of that muscle pain, it's very, very hard to try to get into any kind of an exercise program because of the soreness of the muscles and the lack of energy. The medical field believes that this chronic condition is incurable but manageable somewhat with drugs. So the choice with the medical field is the pharmaceutical product Lyrica. It can have serious, even life-threatening allergic reactions. Some of the side effect signs are swelling in the face and the tongue, neck, throat, mouth, and lips. It can cause difficulty breathing, rashes, hives. It can cause such severe depression that you go into suicidal thoughts or actions and follow through with that. Severe mood changes, dizziness, trouble concentrating, depression, anxiety, anger, irritability, panic attacks, feeling sick all over, running low-grade fevers, heart and kidney problems. Symptoms can worsen if you're taking narcotic pain medicines like morphine and oxycodones, Valium, Xanax, lorazepams, dirty drugs. They stay in your system and tissue too long. If you end up in an emergency situation and you need surgery, they're not going to have much luck trying to get you sedated well for that surgery. Have you ever heard of people waking up during surgery, feeling everything that was done during the surgery? That's what happens when the body has this residue in all of its tissue, and the pain medication resistance is going on. With knowing all of this, don't you think it's safer to use your food as your medicine? Here's some natural remedies that have been used for overcoming fibromyalgia. First, a quality food-based multivitamin and mineral is what I recommend for fibromyalgia. I love a product and use it a lot called Super Supplemental. I like the one with the iron because iron helps to attract oxygen into the cell, and it helps with the ATP production. It's called the iron in the mineral world. Iron's element is always called the frisky horse element. It helps you with energy. Super Supplemental is it's a vitamin and mineral combination that provides 100% or more of all vitamins, including all of the vital B complex for the nervous system and for carbohydrate metabolism. All minerals and trace minerals are in this formula. It's in a food base of antioxidants from fruit, which have the fruit base is grapes, apples, pears, oranges, pineapple, cherry, blueberries, strawberries, And the herbs that are found in this product is in a base of dandelion, which balances the sodium and potassium in the cell. Alfalfa, which has all minerals and trace minerals. Alfalfa is called the father of all and is the king of herbs. The vegetable base that is in this product is asparagus, broccoli, cabbage, bioflavonoids. Bioflavonoids are needed to absorb vitamin C. You don't absorb vitamin C at all unless without the presence of bioflavonoids. This is needed. So our vitamin C is lemon, rose hips. Then there's kelp in there for thyroid health. It's high in natural iodine. And cranberries, mangosteen fruit, carrots, spinach, tomatoes, acai berry, pomegranate. There's 10 essential amino acids, and two of these vitamins and minerals twice a day is a great baseline of nutrients to be taken into your body. Each bottle is a 2-month supply, and amazingly enough, it costs under $30, and 2 months, it's $10 a month. It's a high concentration of vital nutrients. The next product that I want to talk about for fibromyalgia is GABA Plus. And GABA supports the brain and the nervous system metabolism. It normalizes the normal nervous system function. It promotes relaxation and an inner calm. This product, though you can get such a concentration, you can get by with taking one of those twice a day. The next product is one that we have called Fibromyalgia, and it was formulated specifically for fibromyalgia. This product also runs like it's under $20 a month. This product delivers specific nutrition to the structural system, especially the muscles. It has magnesium, the relaxant mineral, and malic acid from apples. And, when you have apples in your diet, it's extremely important that you use organic apples. And if you're using apples for juicing, that they need to be organic. And when you purchase apple juice, you really need to buy the unfiltered apple juice, because all of the apple juice that is clear is filtered through asbestos panels and has been for decades. So this formula, the fibromyalgia, it's high in magnesium, the relaxant mineral, and then the malic acid that's from apples. It aids in the absorption of several vitamins. That's the magnesium. Magnesium is needed in order to absorb vitamins and minerals. It helps promote bone strength and regulates nerve impulses. When the body needs energy-producing fuel, it breaks down muscle protein to create energy. Malic acid is important for cellular energy production. This helps the body to not rob muscle protein to create energy. Remember the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away? It's the property tartaric acid that's found in apples that 1/3 of that apple delivers oxygen to your cells, and it has 4 key minerals: potassium, calcium, magnesium, and iron that is found in that. We're ready to go to break, and you've been listening to the Kingdom of Healing show with Kimberly Matteo, naturopath and master herbalist. You're listening to 710 Radio, 22.9 The Moth. See you after break.
Days will come when you don't have the strength, when all you hear is you're not worth anything, wondering if you ever could be loved. And if they truly saw your heart, they'd see too much. You're beautiful, You're beautiful. You are made for so much more than all of this. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You are treasured. You are sacred. You are His. You're beautiful.
Of your life
to lead them with strong hands to stand up when they can't. Don't wanna leave them hungry for love, chasing things that I could give up. I'll show them I'm willing to fight and give them the best of my life, so we can call this our home. Lead me, 'cause I can't do this alone. Father, lead me, 'cause I can't do this alone.
One day when heaven was filled with his praises, one day when sin was as black as could be, Jesus came forth to be born of a virgin, dwelt among men, my example is he. The Word became flesh and the light shined among us, his glory revealed. Living he loved me, dying he saved me, and buried he carried my sins far away. Rising he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day. One day they led him up Calvary's mountain. One day they nailed him to die on a tree. Suffering anguish, despised and rejected, bearing our sins, my Redeemer is he. The hands that heal nations stretched out on a tree and took the nails for me. 'Cause living he loved me, dying he saved me, and buried he carried my sins far away. Rising he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day.
One day the grave could conceal him no longer. One day the stone rolled away from the door. Then he arose, over death he had conquered. Now is ascended, my Lord evermore.
Death could not hold him, the grave could not keep him from rising again. Living he loved me, dying he saved me, and buried he carried my sins far away. Rising he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day, glorious day. One day the trumpet will sound for his coming. One day the skies with his glory will shine. Wonderful day, my beloved one bringing. My Savior Jesus is mine. Living he loved me, dying he saved me, buried he carried my sins far away. Rising, he justified, freely forever. One day he's coming, on glorious day, oh glorious day.
Lost are saved, find their way at the sound of your great name. All condemned, feel no shame at the sound of your great name.
Hi, welcome back. This is Kimberly Matteo. Thank you for listening to Kingdom of Healing. You're listening to 710 Radio, 22 The Moth. And I want to continue on here with fibromyalgia. I'm going to kind of go back over again. The apple a day keeps the doctor away, and it being the tartaric acid that's found in the apples. It gives us 1/3 oxygen together with potassium, calcium, magnesium, and iron. And one of the things with these 4 key minerals, macro minerals, is that potassium is the alkalizer in the body. Potassium needs oxygen for the nerves and the muscles. Oxygen is attracted to an alkaline environment. Iron, of course, is the frisky element, and that's where your energy comes in. And iron builds the blood, builds strong, proper iron levels. Iron attracts oxygen as well. And we also, in being found in apples, of those 4 macro minerals, is calcium. And calcium is called the knitter. Nothing heals in the body without the presence of calcium. And magnesium, of course, is the relaxer. And magnesium's purpose also in the system, not only to relax the nervous system, create a calmness, but it also feeds the neurons, feeds the autonomic nervous system. And it also helps with the cell wall to be permeable, to be able to absorb through that cell wall the nutrients that you're taking. The next product in line of importance with fibromyalgia is to be taking care of the inflammation. I use a product called IF Relief, which is an herbal combination for pain and inflammation. Curcumin is in that product, and curcumin is the active property that's found in turmeric. And you can use curcumin either singly or go ahead and use it in the formula, the IF formula. Curcumin has been researched and documented to take care of numerous conditions. It is antibiotic. With it being an anti-inflammatory, it inhibits the COX-2 so that there is no inflammation in the tissue. So it's a COX-2 inhibitor. It's antiseptic. It speeds wound healing. It's used to improve digestion. It's a blood purifier. It is an anti-arthritic. It strengthens the ligaments. It helps with coughs. It prevents gas and bloating. It aids in lowering cholesterol. If you're dealing with ulcers in the stomach, it helps to heal the ulcers. There's a lot of studies that have been done with curcumin on its ability to stop what we would call like a renegade cell, a cell that is multiplying and dividing, an abnormal cell. And curcumin has been noted in research to be able to stop that reproduction of that cell when it loses its DNA and doesn't know what it's supposed to do anymore. It reduces the effects of chemotherapy. It improves all skin conditions, including like acne, eczema, psoriasis. Proteins are also extremely important. The IF relief for the inflammation and for the pain, and then protein sources that I want to talk about. Free amino acids is a product that I use. The amino acids are used as the building blocks of protein that help develop and maintain solid muscle tissue. No cells can regenerate without the presence of the building blocks that are made from the amino acids, which are the breakdown of protein. Amino acids are beneficial in the times of extreme physical activity. when you're dealing with a lot of stress, and if you're recovering from an illness or an injury, it's really important that protein supplements be taken. It's important that you do like protein drinks. It's very important to pay attention that enough protein is given in a source that the body is easy to break down. 20 amino acids are needed by the body to make protein, and 12 of them the body makes. So we have 8 other ones that need to be supplied by diet. The amino acid L-carnitine, it helps with transporting the fatty acids into the mitochondria, and that is the energy part of the cell, where they are burned for energy. Magnesium in this combination acts as a cofactor to help activate enzymes necessary for carbohydrate and for amino acid metabolism. Other complete proteins are hemp protein. That is one of my favorites. I use it a couple times a day with a green drink, and I add to my green drink a tablespoon extra of hemp seed protein and add some slippery elm to that and some psyllium and whatever else I can throw in it and shake it up and drink it. Yeah. So hemp seed protein has all of the needed essential and non-essential amino acids. It's one of the highest sources of protein as a supplement for us to add into our diet. I always add it constantly to the juicing regime, even when I'm juicing and giving it to my grandchildren. There's always hemp protein in it. It also has natural occurring essential fatty acids and gamma-linolenic acids. That's your EFAs and your GLAs. These fatty acids are vital to the health of the cell membrane and also contribute to cardiovascular, brain, and structural system function. They provide joint and skin support. Fatty acids are also needed for the strength and elasticity in the cell membrane, helping to keep toxins out and allowing nutrients and oxygen in. They also help to protect the nerve sheath. Hemp seed protein has a nice nutty taste to it. It blends well with juicing, and it can be added to yogurt or kefir as well if you're, working on building that good bacteria in the digestive tract. I want to talk about the nervous system with fibromyalgia. There's neurotransmitter involvement, the pain, the tingling. These are all signs that we need to use more foods that feed the nervous system. Nervine herbs are herbs that feed the nervous system. They're naturally high in B-complex, calcium, magnesium. Some of these herbs are hops and skullcap, valerian, chamomile. I like to use a product that we have called Nerve 8. With the Nerve 8, it also has added to that, which helps with the fibromyalgia, is white willow, which is an analgesic. So white willow is analgesic, is along the line of like aspirin. Devil's claw helps to reduce the cellular stress. Ginger in this combination, ginger and capsicum, which is cayenne pepper, it aids in the circulation of this product. Cayenne pepper aids circulation above the waist, and ginger aids in circulation below the waist. So any kind of conditions that you're dealing with where you have a problem with circulation, especially in the wintertime, one thing that works real well if you're going to be outside a lot in the cold is sprinkle a little cayenne pepper in your shoes. It will keep your feet warm. And if your feet warm and you have a hat on your head, you'll stay pretty warm and be able to handle the length of time that you're outside. Ginger helps with circulation below the waist. And one thing that we find is combinations that are used for conditions above the waist will always have cayenne in them as a carrier. Conditions, herbal formulas that take care of things below the waist will always have cayenne in that. I do recommend that people take a little pepper shaker and put cayenne pepper in that and keep that on your table and do light sprinkling of that over your food. You don't have to do it really heavy, very lightly, and you get the benefits. Cayenne also helps to regulate the blood pressure. So, ironically, with that hot herb has a lot of benefits. And one thing that I used to say years ago, when it comes to circulation in the head, I always wanted to point out one thing, that very rarely do you ever see a Hispanic man who is bald. You just do not see bald Hispanic men. And you look at their diet. What is their diet high in? There's just lots of peppers, lots of cayenne, lots of different types of peppers, and habaneros. And so circulation, they've really got it down. They do not have the heart disease as an ethnic group. Much lower incidence of that when they stay with their diet that follows along the line of their family tradition. The next thing to talk about is the skeletal system, because with fibromyalgia, that involves the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons. So by feeding and supporting the skeletal system is extremely important. I prefer to use an herbal calcium formula. This way, herbs are food. They're extremely high in nutrition. They're very easily assimilated and readily utilized in the tissue in the cell. Herbal CA is a favorite product that I've had for over 30 years, and it is very high in bioavailable minerals. The main herb in it is alfalfa. Alfalfa balances the pH. It's also called the father of all. It has all minerals and trace minerals. And I think in the first show when I was talking about it, alfalfa's roots grow deeper than any of the other herbs in the herb kingdom. It searches out all of those different minerals and trace minerals. Horsetail is in this combination, and it's extremely high in silicon, which strengthens the sheath surrounding the nerves. Oat straw is also in that, which combination with which builds strong bones, teeth, and muscles. Plantain leaves is in the formula as a detoxifier. It gathers and helps with the removing and carrying out of poisons in the body. Marshmallow root soothes irritations in the body. Wheatgrass is something that works really great in adding to your juicing program. You can pick those up at a lot of health food stores, carry them where they're already growing, and you can just pick them up and take them home and get them in a window with a nice amount of light, and cut the tops off of that and add that into your juicing. It's full of trace nutrients and high in antioxidants. Hops is another herb that is in this formula, herbal CA. It supports the nerves, the urinary system, strengthens the liver gallbladder area, as well as it's extremely high in B complex and magnesium, so it's a wonderful relaxant. It helps with sleep as well, and when we are talking about fibromyalgia and the interruptions of the sleep patterns, it's important that you be able to get into a deep REM sleep. Another thing that is very, very important with the system when you're dealing with health challenges and the terrain of the body has been in an acid environment for a long time, what happens is there's an interruption of good bacteria in the digestive tract. And a lot of times when we're on this path of not feeling well, and an acid environment in your body, it's not uncommon to have the immune system. You end up contracting something where you're burning a fever, you pick up an infection, and then you're doing antibiotics. And the thing with antibiotics is it not only kills all the good bacteria, or all the bad bacteria, but it kills the good bacteria as well. So this needs to be maintained and replenished. That all takes place in cultures and colonizes in the gut. Antibiotics, stress, poor diet cause an imbalance in the gut. Sometimes an overgrowth of the wrong bacteria takes over when there isn't enough good foundation of good bacteria, like Candida. However, the majority of your immune system is in the gut. This is the best way to start building up your immune system. Since fibromyalgia is also an autoimmune disorder, is where the medical field puts it, as an autoimmune disorder. It's the safest and best way to bring harmony. It's the best way to bring harmony to an overactive or underactive condition of the immune system. So, yogurt, probiotics, kefir, those things are very gentle things that you can do to strengthen and feed and build the immune system so that it doesn't turn on itself. Herbs like echinacea you don't want to use if you have autoimmune problems. You just do not do well with them. Kefir is great. The best way to do that is to take about a half a cup of that 30 minutes before you go to bed, or take a probiotic formula, 2 to 4 capsules 30 minutes before you go to bed. What's important with this, and then just wash that down with a little bit, half a cup of water or so. What's important with taking probiotics just at bedtime is that it gets a chance to culture in the digestive tract while you're sleeping. When you take probiotics or yogurt, acidophilus, things like this, and your mindset is to take that to build your immune system up. But if you're taking that in between meals, or you're taking it with meals, unfortunately what happens throughout the day is that is washed out of the gut. It doesn't really get a chance to colonize and do what it needs to do. So the fastest way to get the good bacteria built up in the digestive tract, in the gut, is by taking it before you go to bed. 2 to 3 months, you're done. You've done the job. Then once a year, do the same thing for a month or two, and just make sure that you're delivering into the intestinal tract what you need so that the immune system stays healthy. If our immune system is strong and healthy, it takes care of so many things going on in the trillions of cells daily that never manifest. A healthy immune system allows your system to never end up having one of these diseases manifest. The next important formula is for digestion. And we want to make sure that you're able to digest down the meats and fruits and vegetables. If you're eating your fruits and vegetables raw, they have their own enzymes, and they will aid their own digestion. But if you're cooking them, you're destroying those enzyme properties. But remember that when you cook them, you're going to drop that pH level. If you cook organic, steam organic vegetables, you're going to bring that down from 8.5 or 10 to 7.5. But if you're eating canned vegetables and fruits, those are very low. They fall into the acid pH, 5.5, and you don't build health and good tissue on that. Each food enzyme tablet will digest 30 grams of carbohydrates, 30 grams of protein, and 20 grams of fat. So the other thing that helps with this is your pancreas. You will be utilizing your blood sugar better. Fat metabolism, by the 20 milligrams of fat that breaks down. There are herbal things that you can use. The food enzyme is a measurable enzyme formula. But herbs that help to aid digestion is ginger. And what ginger does is it stimulates the stomach wall to secrete hydrochloric acid. Because what happens if you have a lot of indigestion problems, more than likely you do not have enough hydrochloric acid in your stomach to break down and digest your food. It's already time to go to break. This is Kimberly Matteo with Kingdom Healing, and you're listening to 710 Radio, 22 The Moth, and we'll see you after break.
I try to hold on to this world with everything I have, but I feel the weight of what it brings and the hurt that tries to grab, the many trials that seem to never end. His word declares this truth, that we will enter in this rest with wonders anew. But I hold on to this hope and the promise that he brings, that there will be a place where no more suffering. There will be a day with no more tears, no more pain, and no more fears. There will be a day when the burdens of this place will be no more. We'll see Jesus face to face. But until that day, we'll hold on to you always. I know the journey seems so long. You feel you're walking on your own, but there has never been a step but you've walked out all alone. Troubled soul, don't lose your heart, 'cause joy and peace he brings, and the beauty that's in store outweighs the hurt of life's sting. But I hold on to this hope and the promise that he brings, that there will be a place with no more suffering. There will be a day with no more tears, no more pain, and no more fears. There will be a day when the burdens of this place will be no more. We'll see Jesus face to face. But until that day, we'll hold on to you always. I can't wait until that day where the very one I've lived for always will wipe away the sorrow that I face. Oh, the church, the scars that rescued me from a life of shame and misery. Oh, this is why I sing. There will be a day with no more tears, no more pain, and no more fears. There will be a day when the burdens of this place will be no more. We'll see Jesus face to face. There will be a day with no more tears, no more pain, no more fears. There will be a day
There are days when the pain just lasts and lasts. But I know there will come a day when all our tears are washed away, with a break in the clouds, His glory coming down. And in that moment, every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that God is love, and love has come for us all. Every heart set free, everyone will see that God is love, and love has come for us all. For anybody who has ever lost a loved one, and you feel like you had to let go too soon, I know it hurts to say goodbye, but don't you know it's just a matter of time till the tears are gonna end. You'll see Him once again, and in that moment, every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that God is love, and love has come for us all. Every heart set free, everyone will see that God is love, and love has come for us all. Oh, and on that day, we will stand amazed at our Savior, God and King, just to see the face of amazing grace as our hearts rise up and sing. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Thank you for the cross. Singing glory, glory, hallelujah. Christ has paid the toll. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that God is love, love has come for us all. Every heart set free, everyone will see that God is love, love has come for us all. For us all. Thank you, Jesus.
Not a stitch of makeup, I wake up feeling less than great. I think I'm crazy from lazy, I'm always running late. And you come home right on time just to see me is a sea of lonely, swimming sad, looking just for an arm to grab. I don't need to understand, I'm just lending you the two that I have. Oh, you might be drifting, can't find the shore, so hopeless and all alone. The waves are crashing all around you, just when you've lost the will to live. See the sign. Can we make a searchlight from all the bridges that we burn? Do you see a rescue or a deeper kind of hurt? Who could love you? Who could hold you? I'd swim across the sea. You don't have to be alone where the shallow gets so deep. You might be drifting, can't find the shore, so hopeless and all alone. The waves are crashing all around you, just when you've lost the will to live. You see the sign. I'm hurt and nearly drowned. Cry for help, you turn around. Falling from the shore, or you'll be falling from the shore. I'm hurt and nearly drowned. Cry for help, you turn around. Falling from the shore, so you're not falling from the shore. You might be drifting, can't find the shore, so hopeless and all alone. The waves are crashing all around you, just when you've lost the will to live. You see the sign.
I just graduated from Cannabis University.
Ooh, a university man.
I learned all about the law.
Oh, you bad boy.
And I learned how to grow my own medicine all in one day.
All day.
I learned other things too.
Cannabis University, teach me.
Call 303-886-7998 or go to CannabisUniversityInc.com.
Hi, thank you for coming. Welcome back. This is Kimberly Matteo with Kingdom Healing, and you're listening to 710 Radio, the Moth 22.9. To pick up where we left off, I had been talking about enzymes and the importance for your digestion. The next thing with fibromyalgia that needs to be addressed is cleansing and regulating the bowel. A lot of people over the years, in 37 years, believe me, it was the hardest thing I had to do to talk to people about was their bowel health, because we're raised that there's just never enough time, especially grown up going to school. So we teach the bowel to be lazy. We keep telling them, no, it's not convenient now. So before you know it, you develop problems with a very lazy bowel, not wanting to empty. It's important that if you eat 3 times a day, you need to eliminate 3 times a day. If you don't, I'm sad to tell you that you're constipated. Where are the other meals hanging out in a body temperature of 98.6? Auto-intoxication is something that takes place. And auto-intoxication is over 80 toxins that are created in the small intestine, breaking down all of the nutrients. That waste, once it goes into the large intestine, If it is sitting around and does not eliminate within 12 hours, what happens is it is reabsorbed by way of the bloodstream. And it reabsorbs these 80-plus toxins and carries them out throughout the system, via the bloodstream, and it carries it throughout all of the organs and tissue in the body. Bowel health needs 30 to 35 grams of fiber daily to absorb and eliminate toxins. One thing that can be used is psyllium husks. I prefer the husks than the seed. And psyllium husks, you have to be very careful, buy them from a very reputable company. It's not uncommon to pull random psyllium husk products off of the shelf and find that there are levels of lead in that product. So, again, the company that I have used their product for over 3 decades, you can access that. Access all of the herbs and combinations through kingdomofhealing.com. So back to adding enough fiber into the diet. You do have to, when you add something like psyllium, a tablespoon a couple times a day into your juicing, or just, stir it up into water and drink it down, you do have to make sure that you are taking in enough water throughout the day. So one rule of thumb to come up with the amount of water that you need for your system. You always hear that, drink eight glasses of water a day. Well, 8 glasses of water a day is great, but if, the best way to determine specifically how much water you need is you would take your body weight, divide that in half, and then convert that half to ounces. And whatever that comes up to, those are the amount of ounces of water that you need to drink in a day. And I think that if you're sitting around and figuring that out, taking your body weight, divide it in half, convert that half to ounces, and that's what you need to get in to your body. Then you need 80 ounces. Yeah, 80 ounces. So at 80 ounces, you're going to have a half a gallon, a half a gallon and 2 more cups. So half a gallon and plus 16 more ounces there, 64 ounces and then 16. Okay, I'll give you your 80. Okay. So yeah, you want to be really careful with that, with the kind of no-name brand products that are out there. You've really got to make sure that you're taking nutritional supplements from companies that do spend the money to test and quality control every single barrel of nutrients that come into their manufacturing plant. Detected in many of the shelf brands is the lead, and the thing is that lead is a neuro poison. So it kills off nerve cells. It is a neurotoxin, excitotoxin, and excitotoxins excite the cell to the point of the cell dying, and that is called apoptosis, which is cell death. Another product that is very, very good with fibromyalgia is a product called Intestinal Soothe and Build. It's used for sluggish bowels. It's used for leaky gut syndrome. It's used for irritable bowel syndrome, spastic colon, and conditions of colitis and Crohn's disease. This particular product helps when people have a problem with fluctuating from very watery or loose stools to constipation. It aids in feelings where the digestive tract feels very bloated as well. If you deal with bloating, it's best to remove from your diet grains. There is a lot of gluten sensitivities, and it is because the grains of 50 years ago are not the grains that we have today. Through the process of hybrids and genetically modifying them, the gluten levels, which is a protein, is extremely high, and 300 to 400 times higher than it should naturally be. And we were not designed to break that down. So this is where a lot of the problem is coming from with these high gluten grains. With getting the bloating down, it's best to cut grains out of your diet. And where you have meat in your diet, make sure that you have plentiful of raw vegetables and fruits, or gently steamed vegetables. And they maintain their fiber content. The next thing that I want to talk about is endometriosis. Fibromyalgia has over 6 million people affected in the United States. Endometriosis exceeds 5 million women. And this develops when the cells in the lining of the uterus, which is called the endometrium, it accumulates outside of the uterus. It can back up into the fallopian tubes, and then it can also move into the pelvic cavity. This can also occur in the ovaries, the ligaments of the uterus, the cervix, the bowel, appendix, and the bladder. I mean, you've heard about people who have surgeries because of their endometriosis, and adhesions were cut away from the bowel and other internal organs where it had grown onto that and created a problem. It can literally strangle off the bowel. I knew a lady years ago that got into trouble with a bowel obstruction. And when they did the surgery, and the adhesions were removed from the bowel, and that was sent to the lab, it was endometrium cells. And she had already had a hysterectomy. So she had had a hysterectomy like 20 years before. So these were some cells that were deep in that pelvic cavity. Endometriosis, the adhesions have even gone as far to invade the lungs. The damage is done when it's believed that blood from the endometrial fluid, endometrium, finds its way deep into the peritoneal cavity. The peritoneal cavity, that is in that lower abdominal area, in the pelvic floor area, where it creates and causes severe incapacitating pain, inflammation, heavy menses bleeding in between the menses, cysts, cramps, low back pain, and nausea to the point of vomiting. Endometriosis causes the adhesions that attach to the bowel outside of the ovaries and fallopian tubes. The medical field states that it's unclear on how this occurs. Possibly the excess blood backing up through the fallopian tubes to the ovaries, and to a small amount of it making its way outside the organs. One of the things is that there is also some studies that suggest that this is actually a process where during prenatal life, during fetal development, that when the female reproductive organs are forming, that there is a certain amount of this tissue that makes its way into the abdominal cavity, and then once a woman ends up, coming into having her menses, endometriosis, a lot of times is said to affect women in their 20s and 30s. But in this day and age, I see a lot of endometriosis symptoms in very young girls. And I'm talking about 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds that are having to have their menses managed by birth control pills. Women in their 20s and 30s, if they're into any kind of cardiovascular problems, they don't use birth control pills that have estrogen. They use progesterone. So even with the young girls, false unicorn is something that can be used. And Siberian ginseng is also an herb that can be used, even for young girls. Let's see here. Many times women undergo complete hysterectomies due to this condition. There are many, many women out there ultimately who are childless due to this condition. Who's at risk? If your maternal side of the family has it, mom, sister, or a daughter, you are at a higher risk for that. If you have a menses that starts before age 11, now to a lot of us this sounds ironic, a menses before 11. Do you know how many young girls these days are having menses before the age of 11? We'll get into that, some of those causes. Cycles are shorter than 22 days, or a cycle flow is heavy and it lasts more than 7 days. Medical treatment for endometriosis is over-the-counter pain medications, ibuprofen, which is also called Motrin or Advil. Long-term use of ibuprofen can cause damage to the kidneys. If you take this, always drink a full 8-ounce glass of water with the dosage. You need to keep the water intake up to half of your body weight and convert that to ounces. That is what you need for your water. You need to make sure you have enough water to flush that medication through your system and help your kidneys out. Because if there's a problem that you develop with long-term use of ibuprofen, it is damage to the kidneys. Tylenol is another pain reliever over the counter that's used for the pain with endometriosis. And Tylenol in high amounts destroy the liver. It is the number one reason for liver failure and transplants, especially in children. Number one reason for transplants in children. Deaths annually in the United States alone are around 1,000 people a year from Tylenol. So, at 50 states, that's 20 people. Divide those 20 people by 12 months. And, it's in this day and age, there's no reason for anyone to be dying from aspirin and Tylenol and liver transplants. And, if your little one gets into Tylenol, chewable, fruity flavored tablets, best thing that you can have on hand is activated charcoal. And I don't care if you got to open 10 capsules and put it into enough water to make it so that it flows well, and they're going to drink it. They're going to drink it en route to the emergency room because you do want some liver enzyme levels. And the faster that you react to something like that, if a child or even an adult takes too much Tylenol, is to use the activated charcoal and get them to the hospital for, like I said, for some liver levels, and make sure that the liver was not injured from that. Birth control pills in general are used, estrogen and progesterone. Women that are with high-risk cardiovascular disease, or they come from a family of cardiovascular disease, they don't usually take the estrogen oral contraceptives. Too high a risk for blood clots. Progesterone is what is used best, and it's certainly something in natural healing that I always go for the progesterone-producing herbs. Progesterone is used from a medical standpoint with the treatment in pills or shots 3 times a week to manage the flow of the menses. And unfortunately, the bottom line, if you can't get a handle on it and overcoming endometriosis, is surgery with a total hysterectomy. In the natural kingdom, we address this condition with hormone balancing by balancing estrogen with progesterone. Healing starts to occur when you get those progesterone levels up. The main herb that I use is Siberian ginseng. It brings down the excess estrogen level by bringing up the progesterone level. It's very important to remove the cause of the xenoestrogens in the body. We're ready for break again. When we come back, we're going to talk about xenoestrogens and their role that they're playing in all of this endometriosis, hormone imbalances, rapid child development that we see today. So we'll be back after this break, and you're listening to 710 Radio, Moth 22.9, Denver, Colorado.
so deep that I can hardly breathe. This pain can't be imagined. Will it ever heal? Your hand, so small, held a strand of my hair, so strong. All I could do was keep believing. Was that enough? Is anyone there? I wanna scream. Is this a dream? How could this happen to me? This isn't fair. This nightmare, this kind of torture, I just can't bear. I want you here. I want you here. I waited so long for you to come. Then you were here, and now you're gone. I was not prepared for you to leave me. Oh, this is misery. Are you still there? I wanna scream. Is this a dream? How could this happen to me? This isn't fair. This nightmare, this kind of torture, I just can't bear. I want you here. I want you an ache so deep that I can hardly breathe.
shine, I would still be loving you. When mountains crumble to the sea, there will still be you and me. Kind of woman, I give you my all. Kind of woman, nothing more. Little drops of rain, whisper of the pain, tears of love lost in the days gone by. My love is strong, here there is no wrong. Together we shall go until we die. My inspiration's what you are to me. Inspiration, love, see. And so today my world, it smiles. Your hand in mine, we walk the miles. Thanks to you, it will be done. For you to me are the only one. All right, yeah. Happiness, no more be sad. Happiness, I'm glad. If the sun refused to shine, I would still be loving you. Mountains crumble to the sea, there will still be you and me.
I have acted out. I have questioned sovereignty and had my share of doubts. And though sometimes my prayers feel like they're bouncing off the sky, the hand I hold won't let me go, and is the reason why I will stumble, I will fall down, but I will not be moved. I will make mistakes, I will face heartache, but I will not be moved.
down, and oh, my soul so weary. When troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Shoulders, you raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfect. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up. I can stand on mountains. Stormy sea, and I am strong when I am on your shoulder. Oh, you raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
I just graduated from Cannabis University.
Ooh, a university man.
I learned all about the law.
Oh, you bad boy.
And I learned how to grow my own medicine all in one day.
All day.
I learned other things too.
Cannabis University, teach me.
Call 303-886-7998 or go to CannabisUniversityInc.com.
Are you? Welcome back. This is Kimberly Matteo with Kingdom of Healing, and you're listening to 710 Radio, Moth 22.9 Denver. And we're going to continue on with some of the things that I do from an alternative standpoint when I'm working with someone who is dealing with the condition endometriosis. Let's see here. I want to talk about xenoestrogens. And xenoestrogens are synthetic. Those are chemical estrogens. And they make their way into the body because they occur in plastic bottles. Styrofoam. I mean, have you ever noticed styrofoam? When you put a hot liquid into a styrofoam cup, and after about 2 or 3 minutes, you see that it looks almost like there's an oil slick going on top of whatever that hot beverage is that's in that styrofoam cup. That is the releasing of those chemicals from the styrofoam into the hot liquid that's in that cup. And those chemicals that are being released are xenoestrogens. Xenoestrogens, plastic containers, do not microwave food in styrofoam or plastic. I don't use a microwave, but hundreds of thousands of people do. I think that if it's something that you have to use in a pinch, always use glass. Don't use any type of plastics or styrofoam with that. The releasing of these chemicals create havoc for the glandular system, including the female reproductive organs. Animals that are fed synthetic hormones, when we ingest them, the liver has to process them. All of those excess hormones, which are man-made chemical hormones that are in the feed, those hormones end up at our receptor sites. They mimic healthy, normal estrogen cells. Ultimately, the body is overloaded with chemical hormones that create this severe condition. One thing that we see today is there is not only a rise of breast cancer in women, but we're also seeing more breast cancer in men. And it has to do with the xenoestrogens. There's too many of them that are making their way into our diet. Packaged foods that wrapped in plastic and cellophane, sitting around in areas where it is too hot, or in the back seat of a car. Those leach out and they leach into the food. And then when we ingest those foods or we drink those foods, those chemicals are entered into the system. And when the body gets overloaded and you keep taking these things in, the brain is certainly wondering, what do you need these for, even though it doesn't know what to do with it. So it settles it off into other tissue and figures it'll come back for it and get it at a later date. So in order to take care of these xenoestrogens, we talked about bowel cleansing, blood cleansing. Excuse me. These are ways to carry those, to gather them, and to carry them out of the body. I talked a little bit about progesterone. There's a cream that I like to use that's called Yam cream, and it is made from wild yam. Wild yam does not have progesterone, but the properties in the wild yam, when we use this transdermally by putting this onto our skin in small amounts, just the size of a pea, in a soft area of the skin, and rub that in, our body will make the progesterone. By bringing the progesterone level up, the estrogen level will come down. So again, Yam cream, you can find those at my website, kingdomofhealing.com, or you can also find them at your local health food store. And it would be a progesterone cream. And again, you only use the size of about a pea, and you want to put that into like the inside of your wrist. Start, one day, rub it in there. Second day, maybe put it higher up, like inside where your elbow is at, behind the knees, on the abdominal area. Just kind of move that around and don't put it in the same spot every day. But what it does is it will bring down the estrogen and bring up the progesterone level naturally. You will notice a difference in the menses. You'll notice in regulating that. You'll notice a difference with pain. And I really believe that endometriosis, now we have greater than 5 million women in the United States with this. And this is a condition that is becoming very, very prevalent. So we need to look at our food. We need to look at what we're eating. We need to see what's in the kitchen. And most of all, we need to see what we need to throw out of the kitchen. Any meats that you're eating, they really do need to be, they must be hormone-free, grass-fed, naturally raised, commercial, right off a feedlot, in order to get those animals fattened up quick. They use a lot of synthetic hormones with their feed. Other things for endometriosis, and I touched on it with the fibromyalgia, is the IF Relief, the curcumin combination formula that is used for inflammation to inhibit the COX-2 enzyme that produces inflammation in the body. Or you can singly use the curcumin, which I talked about earlier in the show. This is also something due to the debilitating pain that is associated with endometriosis. This is a good fit formula to use with that condition as well. Another one I wanted to talk with you about is high-potency gray pine. And this is used to heal scar tissue areas. It's 50 times stronger than vitamin E for healing and preventing scar tissue. So high-potency gray pine is really important for someone with endometriosis, since they do have a history of problems with adhesions and repeated surgeries to remove these adhesions and scar tissue. The scar tissue it overgrows as well, and has been a reason that people make it back into surgery. So by using the high-potency gray pine, which is pycnogenol comes from the maritime pine tree in France. It does not have a high saturation level to it to stay in the cell. So the company combines it with grapeseed. And what it does then is it is able to be saturated and to hold into the cell to do what it needs to do. Vitamin E, the high-potency gray pine is 50 times stronger than vitamin E, but there are a lot of people who do prefer to take vitamin E. You're going to need at least 1,000 international units a day of organic vitamin E. Don't use synthetic vitamin E. Any synthetic vitamin or mineral can cause the problem that you're using it to try to overcome. It's kind of like we look at some of the prescription drugs that are used for particular disorders, and you're kind of dealing with this, a lot of the same symptoms from a side effect that you were dealing with the problem. Another thing with the high-potency gray pine, from a vascular standpoint, I have seen women with varicose veins that had literally like pouches of varicose veins, where those were the vascular system was strengthened, the inflammation was taken care of. When the inflammation was taken care of, all of that swelling from the inflammation and irritation subsided, and the leg was very smooth, and they were doing very, very well. Another herb to use with endometriosis is another one that helps with nervous irritability as well as female reproductive, and that's false unicorn. It helps with congestion and sluggishness of the lower pelvic area. So this is a very important herb to add to an herbal regime when you're trying to work with overcoming endometriosis and getting the right nutrients into your body to bring that balance. It also brings up the progesterone levels as well, just like the Siberian ginseng does, and the progeam cream or progesterone creams. It's a tonic and a healer for the female reproductive system. With cramping, it aids in reducing cramping. It helps to eliminate the spotting in between menses, and it helps to bring into balance and regulate a heavy menses flow. Blood purification and building is also addressed. We need a way to, as we build up the body, as we strengthen the body, and as we bring that into balance, what happens is those organs get stronger and the healing takes place. There's a breakdown of metabolic waste that takes place in the body. And the best way to get rid of that waste is by using things by cleansing the blood, using products that help to cleanse the bowel. So I'm going to talk with you a little bit about blood purification and building. Padiarco is a wonderful, it's a Padiarco bark. Excuse me. It comes from the Tehibo tree from South America, from Brazil. And another reason I love the company that I have used for over 3 decades and have been able to help so many people get well is they do so much quality control testing. There's 600 tests that are done on each barrel of herbs that come in. And one of the things with Padiarco is the Tehibo tree grows the tallest in the rainforest. And when those trees come down, or when they're stripping the bark, there's a lot of mahogany trees that grow there in that area as well. They look similar in the bark when they're stripping it. You want to make sure that you don't have a product that's filled with mahogany bark shavings. You want the Padiarco or Tehibo, Lapacho. It's also called Lapacho. South American pharmacia has used Padiarco in their cancer treatment for almost 50 years now. Padiarco has the ability to cleanse excess toxins from the bloodstream, chemicals as well. It's high in iron and will help to improve low iron levels from heavy and excessive bleeding. Cayenne or capsicum keeps in check any internal bleeding. It's beneficial with heavy menses flow. I really like for people to have cayenne pepper put into a shaker and put that on your table and sprinkle it on your food. And it's also something that will keep not only a heavy menses in check, but it will also help with any internal bleeding. Helps to stop that. If you cut yourself, pour cayenne pepper on it. It kind of cauterizes it, seals it up. You're not dealing with all that bleeding, unless you've cut an artery. Then that's different. But even a cut and putting cayenne on that allows you enough time to get to an ER if you're needing stitches. Bowel cleansing. We talked a little bit about in intestinal soothe and build. Another product that is very, very good is called Enviro Detox. And this combination is specifically for cleansing the bowel and detoxing and absorbing the excess, cleaning excess toxins and excess estrogen from the body. Change your diet, get that pH into balance. Avoid all products where hormones are added, commercially raised meat, poultry, milk and cheeses, butter. Avoid sugar. It depletes your calcium, your B complex, and it suppresses the immune system. Everything needs to be natural and organically raised. Start juicing. Give your body a break from the overload of all of the toxins and insults of everyday life. Give it the opportunity that it needs to heal. The only opportunity best opportunity for the tissue to regenerate itself lies in the nutritional and herbal kingdom to regenerate new tissue. I want to share a juice recipe with you, which is good for it's a great detoxifier. It's also something that's very beneficial when you're dealing with fibromyalgia and also endometriosis. It's used for prevention in abnormal cells, cardiovascular problems, blood pressure problems. It opens and cleanses the colon. It strengthens the digestion. It builds the immune system. It's wonderful for cleansing and strengthening the liver. It's used for your eyes. You know, it takes 20% of your body's energy just for your eyes to function. So all the more reason that it's important that we keep our vital nutrients up in our bodies so that our body every cell has the opportunity to function at the level that it was intended to. It also helps with cleansing the pancreas as well as the kidneys. So I want you only using organic produce. We don't want to use crop-dusted produce. You end up juicing all of that, and you've got a toxic toddy that you've made, and you don't want to drink that. So this toss in a blender or a juicer, 1 beet with 3 or 4 tops, 1 apple, core that. Just cut that core out. Just cut the ends off, put it in. 2 carrots, chop those up. You can squeeze the juice of 1 lemon and the juice of a half a lime if you want. And this is extremely high alkaline juice. It's perfect for bringing your pH level from an acid environment up into the 7.5 range. So again, that's 1 beet with 3 to 4 of the green leafy tops, 1 apple, 2 carrots, the juice of 1 lemon, the juice of a half a lime, and drink that down. And the other thing I want to tell you about juicing is please just juice what it is that you're going to drink. Don't make an excessive amount of that juice because within 15 minutes to a half an hour, you're going to have a depletion of those nutrients. Within a couple hours from that, you're going to have a lot of depletion of vitamin and mineral content. So it's really important to just have your juices, just juice enough that you're going to drink, always at that time, one setting, or make too much a lot of times like I do and with my grandchildren, and I get a little crazy and that blender is really full of a lot of things, and they're lining up with their cups out, wanting to make sure that they get their share too. So, let's see here. That is about it on endometriosis and fibromyalgia. If you have any questions at all, you're certainly welcome to send me an email at Kingdom of Healing for You, number 4, letter U, at yahoo.com, and I'll be happy to answer privately any questions that you might have. And I think we had a few questions here at the studio today.
Yes,
wanting a few
I do.
questions
I'm
answered.
here. Thank you so much, Kimberly Matteo. We love having you here. I'm Cannabis Angel, and I do have a couple of questions for you. First off, what is kelp?
Kelp is an algae, and it's part of numerous species of algae. We have spirulina. We have kelp, we have spirulina, we have blue-green algae, red marine algae. A lot of those you've probably heard of.
Right.
Nori is an algae.
Never heard of that.
Nori, we see that a lot with a lot of this sushi, where it's
And that's why I've never
wrapped
heard
in
of that.
okay. It's a seaweed.
Okay.
It's a seaweed. Seaweeds, they're all complete proteins. So they have all of the essential and non-essential amino acids. One thing with kelp, it is in that algae family. Kelp is very specific to the thyroid gland. Our thyroid, what feeds our thyroid, also feeds the parathyroid.
Okay.
And our thyroid is involved with the firing, sending the message for the firing of the heart.
Okay.
It's important for regulating the fluid balance in the body. That all is dictated by the thyroid. The pituitary gland is said to be the master gland in the body, in that what it does is it releases a little bit of all of the hormones that all of the endocrine system needs to, when that comes through the endocrine system, which is a ductless system, when it comes through that, it triggers that to release the hormones that it needs. So we have another thing with the thyroid is the bones, with the regulating of the calcium, the parathyroid. So I had said what feeds the thyroid feeds the parathyroid. Parathyroid regulates our calcium in our body. So a lot of times if people have a lot of problems with their bones not healing quick enough, or repeatedly breaking bones, it's like we can do all the calcium we want. We can really get that calcium in there, but the problem is that the parathyroid needs to regulate and dictate where the calcium is going to go. So it is a whole system effect, and that's where the word holistic works, is that unlike the medical field, who's turned us into parts, in holistic healing, you're not parts. You're a whole body. And there and we will have many shows, because there's just so much to learn. Kelp is high in a lot of nutrition. Iodine is one of the highest nutrient properties in kelp. And one thing I'd like to add is that if we look at the all of the states that live along the coastline, people have a real high advantage of good prices on fresh seafood. And the seafood is where you're going to find your highest iodine levels. So people that live along the coastal states do not traditionally have the thyroid problems that those of us who live inland do. Because our soil, the topsoil is gone, our soil's depleted. It's I had last week in the show had mentioned, how the ground needs a chemical enema in order to grow these days. We were taught crop rotation as children in school. Yeah, we don't need.
Okay, I kind of got a two-part question for you.
Okay, right.
For the kelp, could you put that in when you're juicing?
You can, but only use a little bit. I bought some nori. It was on sale at the health food store, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll throw this in with my juicing. And I put way too much kale and too much nori, and it was a fabulous compost for the rose bush because I could not swallow it.
So then, okay, my second part, since you were talking about the seaweed and the people along the coastline. Now, I don't know if this makes a difference, but you said that the seaweed was high in iodine. And when you get radiation poisoning, don't you want iodine?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so what would you say about the Fukushima
Absolutely, and that was something that I posted as soon as that had happened out on my Facebook page. Was that for especially my loved ones? I mean, my brother and his family, and my uncle, and I have cousins and stuff living out in California. You know, they were affected within about a year of fallout, and you know, I was talking about using kelp, because what it does is it does gather radiation. It's attracted to the radiation. It pulls it from the cell and carries it out of the body. Okay, so kelp is something that Japan also, lots and lots of research in Japan that children with mothers who had low thyroid function. This is where a lot of mental retardation, cretinism. Cretinism comes from a lack of iodine in the diet, so it's a thyroid problem with the mother. It's extremely important for thyroid health.
So,
pregnancy.
okay, when we're talking about radiation here and everything,
Yes.
because I would love to chime in sometimes when you're talking,
Mm-hmm.
because you know when you're talking, what you were talking about right there, you know, hemp is a very good thing about clearing the air, cleaning the soil,
Absolutely.
detoxifying
Yes.
the environment.
Yes,
So-
absolutely.
They actually got a study in Fukushima. They actually have a study right now in Fukushima by a doctor from Japan that's actually got a piece of the property that's already planted cannabis on it to try to prove that he can have it habitable again within 5 years.
That would be amazing.
Amazing.
He says 5 years. He says 5 years is a good estimate. Everybody else thinks it's going to be faster 5 years.
You know, another thing that was discovered by a Japanese doctor is black mica. Black mica extract.
Which is?
Well, it comes from a mineral, from black mica. And when you put that into water, what it does is you can take a glass of water that you think is a pristine glass of pure, clean water. And within a couple of minutes after you put like 5-10 drops of this black mica extract into the water, it starts kind of looking gray and gassy. And what ends up developing with that water over the next couple of hours is the top of it starts getting very clear, and then you just see this stuff that just starts accumulating in the bottom of the glass. And that's all of the mercury and the lead and radiation, and it's all kinds of poisons and toxins that your eye cannot see, but it's present in that water. Fluoride, you know, and it binds it, and it pulls it out of the water, and it's all settled down into the very bottom of the glass. And then that water, you know, you pour it off, make sure you don't disturb anything that's sitting in the bottom, and that's what you're drinking. It alkalizes the water as well. And, you know, back to seaweeds, there is a particular algae called elgin. And elgin is, out of all of the different seaweeds, elgin is very specific to binding radiation in the body and carrying and pulling it out of the system. Elgin, A-L-G-I-N. And that is very specific. You know, blue-green algae, one of blue-green algae's properties that kind of singles it out a little bit from the other algae family is its ability to trigger healthy stem cells, sister stem cells, to release from the bone marrow and to circulate into the bloodstream. And what's going to happen with that is the stem cells will go to a weakened area of the body, into a weakened organ area. And it actually gets up next to that tissue, and it starts replicating that particular tissue. So blue-green algae is extremely extremely amazing, and there's been a lot of research.
Well, that's
a
funny.
lot of research.
Can I say something on that? Because in Kansas at Cheney Lake, blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty to look at.
Right.
Well, and then there's a process of cleaning it.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't pick it up.
Yeah, no.
Right,
don't
right,
do that.
right.
Because it does. It attracts. Algae is in the air. So anybody with an outside swimming pool or a pond,
Right.
you
Yes,
know,
definitely.
Okay, they know. They're dealing with an algae problem because it's airborne. So, inside swimming pools, you don't have to mess around with them. They're pretty good, kind of like the big old bathtub or a hot tub, So, but back to that algae that grows, it pulls toxins out of the air. And, we don't hear a lot anymore about acid rain. It's still there. What do you think's full of this atmosphere where there's so many chemicals and things in the atmosphere, and we breathe those in, just like sleep deprivation will put us at a 3.0 pH balance just by not being able to get good reparative healing REM sleep.
What is a good pH balance for a person?
Between 7
does it 8
between 6.5 to 7.5, but you know what? It is at that 7.5 mark that we're able to, if our pH is at 7.5, then every single vitamin, mineral, trace mineral, enzyme, amino acids, all of those we're able to uptake and to utilize into the cell.
Right.
If we're at 7.0, we get the vast majority, but at 6.5 we don't. And that's why at the 6.5 to 6.0 level, if you're not sick, you're kind of working on it. You're
Right.
brewing something. It just hasn't surfaced yet. Or you're going in and you're complaining. You're complaining about particular symptoms. They're not going to find it until you're 80% into the disease. They're not going to find it until they can do some blood work and go, oh, okay.
By the way, now we
have
know.
high levels here. We have high levels there. Oh, we've got some low levels here in this CBC. So we know your immune system's overwhelmed. We know that something's going on. It must be really voracious if your if this is like overwhelming your immune system.
Right.
And so they don't diagnose anything until it's in an active state. You can complain about symptoms for a long time. And look how long it takes to get fibromyalgia diagnosed. I mean, people suffer for years and years, and then the medical field wouldn't even believe it. It was kind of like candida. Oh, that's not true. That's not true. And we'll do. I will do a show on candida, because I'm going to tell you something. There's not a cancer cell present in the body that you won't find candida, fungus,
Really?
out of balance in the body. And due to, over the years, all of the antibiotics, worst thing a young mom can do is run her child for every little snivel to the doctor. And thank goodness that now the doctors, a good pediatrician, will now say, well, feed them lots of fluids and make sure they're eating good, keep them hydrated and fed, and let's see if they can't take care of this themselves. I mean, there was a time where they wrote out an antibiotic for everything, and ultimately what that has caused is a lot of that good flora and good bacteria that is supposed to be in our intestinal tract, it doesn't even exist anymore. It's not even there. It doesn't exist.
Wow.
Yeah, and so those are some of the problems that antibiotics have created. So it's so important. It's what I
And that's crazy, yeah, because I used to be one of those moms where I would think, oh my God, yeah, just a virus. Well, I didn't get no medicine, nothing.
well, a
da, 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 da.
virus, an antibiotic will not take care.
Right.
Antibiotics are for bacteria, and it's always really a drag when you do talk to somebody that's still in this day and age. They took their child to a pediatrician, and the pediatrician said, well, it's probably a virus. Let's do some amoxicillin. Let's not.
Right.
Let's not.
Let's just play it out.
Let's not, because that amoxicillin is going to go in and that's going to kill that very good bacteria that your immune system needs in the digestive tract to kill and overcome that virus. So no, let's not.
Right. Right.
Let silver, nanosilver, gosh, I guess we talked about that last show, and we had the audio problems, and wow, I didn't address that. So, well, we call it nanosilver. Colloidal means that it's in a water. It's in a liquid. It's soluble. Yeah. So we will talk about that, because that's an amazing product. The nanosilver, the silver salt, the silver gel. Maybe do something on Candida. I don't know. There's just so much to talk about.
When I listen to you, while you talk, I tell you, I was like, oh my God, that could be a show by itself. Oh man, that could be a show by itself. Oh man, that could be that could be a topic.
There's so much, and in 37 years, I have seen so much. And sometimes, when somebody has come to me and the doctor didn't know what was wrong with them, couldn't figure it out. It's like, and they've got all of these, like, mysterious symptoms and stuff. I do have to say, and I do want to, we'll talk about this, is iridology.
Right.
Iridology. In 1970 alone, there were over 3,500 medical doctors in Germany that did iridology. In Germany, iridology is looked at as a method of diagnosis. You go into the ER, a doctor's going to come in, he's going to take a look at your irides. You have two eyes, your iris, two eyes is your iride. Right. Well, they're looking at blood vessels.
That's what I was going to ask. Why is it that the eye doctors are not iris readers as well, since they do already look into your eyes?
I had an opportunity it was 1986 to teach iridology one-on-one to an eye specialist.
Oh, wow.
Who was a medical doctor. He was an ophthalmologist, not an optometrist. He was an ophthalmologist. And he said he was so interested in that from school, because they touched a little bit on iridology in college. And when he had found out about me, he called me and he wanted to know if I would privately teach him. And I did. And, there was just a lot, because he was really very interested in natural healing and seeing people so many days, everyday patients. He had so many questions because he would see so much in the eyes. And the eyes do change. And this is how you know that iridology's partner is nutrition. It doesn't do any good to do an iris analysis and chart all of that and go take a prescription medication for it, because that's not going to heal the area. What you're able to pick up on is settlement in tissue of the body, and by what color that is, we know possibly what its origin is, due to different levels of inflammation. We know if it's an acute stage, if it's a chronic stage, or if it's a degenerative stage. And it's amazing to have somebody sit down and, really 37 years at this, I mean, people would, I heard about you and I'm really sick, but I'm not telling you anything.
Wow.
You're going to have to figure it all out. And it's like, that's okay, I'm good with that.
Just to see.
It's not a problem.
I understand.
I'm not intimidated. But what's ironic to me is, you'll come to me and you'll tell me that you're not telling me anything at all about your health or your history, and I am to figure it out. But then you'll go to the medical doctor
And be real quick
with
to tell
a
them.
notebook
All right.
on everything that's going on, and they can't figure it out until it's in a disease state.
Right.
So, when you sit down and you're looking at somebody and go, oh, hey, what'd you do to your right leg? Did you break it? And they get this look on their face like,
How'd you know?
How'd you know that? And it's like, what's wrong with this left ear over here? Wow, let's see here. We have a break in the autonomic nerve wreath, and that's in that inner eardrum. Do you have a problem with your hearing? And it's like, yeah, I can't hear too well out of that ear. It's my other ear that's good. And it's like, how'd you know that? And it's like, well, yeah, don't tell me nothing.
Right.
That's okay, I'll find it. I'll find
Your
it.
eyes tell it all.
And then I've had the ones, too, that call me like 2 months later and go, hey, when you said something about my kidney? And I said, I don't have any problems with my kidneys. I've never had a problem with my kidneys. It's like, about 3 weeks after I had that appointment with you, I had the worst kidney infection I ever had, ever in my life. And I was like, I really should have listened to you and did what you suggested, So sometimes, we will see in the irides, we will see something that is manifesting before you're able to get a name on what it is.
Wow.
So iridology is really cool. And if we've got a minute for one more thing.
We got 6 minutes left.
Oh, 6 minutes left. Good. I had a lady that came to me in 1991, and she showed up and she says, well, I really didn't want to come here. My mom believes in all of this stuff, so I'm coming, and I'm following through with my appointment. But she said, I just came from the doctor. I told you when I made the appointment that I had to go in to see my doctor for my results and stuff from some tests. And she says, I want you to know, she says, I am absolutely in perfect health. God is my witness. God is my witness. I am in perfect health. My doctor said there is absolutely nothing wrong with me. My blood work is fine. Everything that I went through came out perfect. And so I don't know what you're going to find because I'm in perfect health. And it's like, okay, all right. I wasn't intimidated at
Right.
all. I don't intimidate very well. And so so I'm looking at, I'm going through her left eye, and I come on to this right kidney. Or to her left eye, it was the left kidney. And I said, what's going on in your left kidney? And she said, well, I told you, there's nothing going on with me. I just have my blood work done. It's all perfect. It's all in range. There's nothing wrong with me. And, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it real close, and I'm seeing some specific iris signs that I was taught by the German medical doctors that I studied under. And this was not looking good. So I just kind of, I charted that, and I went on with the rest of the eye, and I went over to the right eye and charted all of that. And the right kidney looked really good. And I came back to that with her, and I said, I understand that your doctor just gave you a clean bill of health, but I said, I've really come upon something, and I feel an urgency that you need to have your left kidney checked out. I want you to call your doctor tomorrow. She goes, oh, what am I supposed to do? Tell me I went to go see a witch doctor? I said, excuse me?
Right.
Excuse me? I am not a witch doctor. The thing is that the sign that I see in this left kidney, you really need to, I'm telling you right now, you call your doctor. I don't care if you tell me you went to see me.
No.
You will do your health a disservice if you do not listen to what I'm saying and have him check out that left kidney. So she calls the doctor the next day. He thought it was kind of funny, and to see somebody that did iridology, and this like 1990, and so anyway, she finally the doctor he agreed. He sent her in. He says, "Well, we'll prove her wrong. We'll just order a CT scan." They ordered a CT scan. She was called. She was in surgery in less than 48 hours. Her left kidney was full of cancer.
Oh my God.
Her left kidney was removed. It was full of cancer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she was in perfect
Right.
health.
And how long
Perfect.
does it take for you to learn all that? I mean, really, to really know what you're doing.
I would say that it's going to take a good year or two,
Really?
and that's
I
a
can
good,
understand
and
that.
that is a good year or two if you're constantly applying it. If
Understand.
you're staying busy with seeing people and because you learn so much.
I bet.
From
Who do
your
you ask
clients.
if you have questions?
Well, one thing that was wonderful when my dear friend Dr. Jensen, unfortunately he has passed.
Right, I remember you talking.
But I was able to, very rarely would I have a stumper. If I did, I was able to call him. But I think the few things that kind of stumped me through the years, he knew immediately what it was. And, and it has to do with, understanding that, it's just like the children with blood sugar problems. If mom and dad don't have to be diabetic, but if mom and dad had a high diet of refined carbohydrates, lots of sugars, lots of flours, dealt with kind of headaches and kind of low blood sugar type symptoms, and you drink a lot of pop, and you just have a lifestyle that's conducive to all this refined sugar coming in, and then you reproduce and you make a baby, and then you feed that body all of that food.
What do you expect?
Throughout that time, and then that child is born and everything's fine, so you think. But then you start feeding that child, gets to a certain age, and hey, child's sitting right there with you eating the same food. What gets diagnosed? Childhood.
5 seconds.
5 seconds. We're done for this week's show. This is Kimberly Matteo with Kingdom of Natural Healing, and you've been listening to 710 Radio, Moth 22.9, Denver, Colorado. See you next week. Take care.